Imagine, if you will, stepping back 300 million years. Forget the world you know. Forget the blue skies and the familiar forests. You are walking into a world where the very air you breathe is toxic to modern lungs, but a source of raw, unbridled power. This is the Carboniferous Period, a time when the Earth didn't just breathe, roared. It was a geological anomaly, a biological explosion. Here, at Chronicle Core, we are stripping back the layers of time to uncover the why and the how of this lost world. Why did the insects grow to the size of hawks? What caused this hyper-evolutionary sprint? And ultimately, what can this ancient age teach us about the fragile equilibrium of our own existence? To understand the Carboniferous, you must first understand the atmosphere. Today, our atmosphere is roughly 21% oxygen. It is the perfect balance for complex mammalian life. But 300 million years ago, that number climbed as high as 35%. It was a consequence of the rise of the forests. Across Pangaea, massive trees began to colonize. They were the world's first true forests. And because there were no bacteria to break down lignin, these trees didn't rot. They died, fell, and were buried, trapping carbon deep underground, turning into what we now know as coal. But as this carbon was buried, the oxygen remained in the atmosphere. The planet was becoming a pressurized oxygen tank. Now, consider the insect. Unlike us, they do not have lungs. They breathe through tiny tubes called tracheae that deliver oxygen directly to their tissues. In our modern, oxygen-poor world, this system is a limitation. It prevents insects from growing large. But in the Carboniferous, the oxygen was so abundant. The constraint was removed. Nature pushed the overclock button on biology. The result? A nightmare of oversized proportions. Let us look closer at the architects of this era. First, consider the Meganeura. It was a dragonfly, but to call it a dragonfly does it a disservice. With a wingspan over 70 centimeters, it was the apex predator of the Carboniferous skies. It didn't buzz, it roared through the air with a mechanical, terrifying efficiency. It was a tactical interceptor, an evolutionarily perfect machine. But if the sky was terrifying, the forest floor was something out of a Gothic horror story. Moving through the damp, rotting ferns was the Arthropleura. Imagine a millipede, but stretched to the size of a modern crocodile, 2.5 meters long, heavily armored, segmented, and undeniably the dominant force on the ground. When it moved, the earth must have shaken. They were the undisputed kings of a lost empire. But no empire lasts forever, and the Carboniferous, for all its glory, carried the seeds of its own destruction. The very forests that built this high-oxygen paradise were ultimately its undoing. The climate grew colder and drier. The massive swamps dried up. Without the vast forests to replenish the supply, oxygen levels plummeted. The overclock button was switched off. The giants, who relied on that supercharged atmosphere, could no longer support their bodies. The metabolism that fueled them was now their cage. One by one, the titans of the air and the ground faded into the fossil record.
It was not a sudden explosion, but a slow, suffocating decline. A world that had grown too large for its own reality.
Looking back, the Carboniferous Period is more than just a list of big bugs. It is a cautionary tale. It shows us that life is not static. It is a mirror reflecting the state of the planet. We often think of ourselves as the masters of the Earth, permanent and unchanging.
But the Carboniferous reminds us that we are just one chapter in a long story. Thank you for journeying back to the giants with us. Join us next time as we dive deeper into the mysteries of our history.